Unfortunately, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble.
There are a whole lot of women out here who, one, are not aspiring to be humble.
Ooh.
We have a very modern family. My husband's ex-wife is a friend of mine.
That's a lie. Hi, welcome to Street Politics. My name is Reese Waters. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the page. And special shout out to all our brand new members that have joined. Okay, y'all saw the original statement.
So my kids keep me humble. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble.
And not to be lost in the pick-me sexism of challenging Kamala Harris for not having biological children, the fact that yet we have another woman in government who refuses to say Kamala Harris.
Kamala's.
Oh, you had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
What you think, you Nancy Mace? Well, unlike Nancy Mace, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was made to regret her decision immediately as she was forced to sit there while the least humble human on earth rambled on and on and on.
She said, I don't think I've ever said this before. So we do these rallies, they're massive rallies. Everybody stays till the end, by the way. You know, when she said that, well, your rallies, people leave. Honestly, nobody does. And if I saw them leaving, I'd say, and ladies and gentlemen, make America great again, and I'd get the hell out, okay? Because I don't want people leaving. But I do have to say, so I give these long, sometimes very complex sentences and paragraphs, but they all come together. I do it a lot. I do it with Raising Cane, that story. I do it with the story on the catapults on the aircraft carriers. I do it with a lot of different stories. When I mention Dr. Hannibal Lecter, I'm using that as an example of people that are coming in from Silence of the Lambs. I use it. They say, it's terrible. So they say, so I'll give this long, complex area. For instance, that I talked about a lot of different territory.
That's who you threw women under the bus for? Congratulations. Well, at the very least, they'll be pleased over at Trump and RNC headquarters, right?
But I do want to get back to Sarah Huckabee Sanders' comment. I, too, was blessed to have a stepmother. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to have normal conversations without a stepmother. So I found that comment to be actually offensive. I don't know what more to say about that. I'm disappointed in Sarah was saying that. I'm sure I'm going to get criticism from the campaign. But I have to sort of defend somebody who's a stepmom. It's a tough job. People step into that role. It's usually a difficult dynamic. My mom excelled at it. I'm sure your mom excelled at it. I'm sure you excelled at it. And we should reward that and sort of speak of that in a very high tone.
Ooh, that is the worst kind of pick-me behavior. When you throw your own kind under the bus and even the people that you were trying to please are like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Nah, yeah, we weren't really feeling it. Because that makes us look bad. I mean, you look horrible, but you look so bad, it makes us look bad. So now we want nothing to do with you. So you go ahead and own your trash behavior by yourself. Congratulations. I ain't seen offensive behavior go that left since Nixon the Sticks. Y'all remember Nixon the Sticks? Where the dude decided to drop ends because he thought he had a warm and welcoming ear, only that person was aggressively anti-racist?
Hey, you messed up, man.
No, I didn't mess up.
Yeah, you did. Because this is their first time experiencing, they're friends of mine here.
That was
and then
not,
you want to make me feel bad because I sat down at the table and then you asked me if I'm going to consult with these NIGGERs.
No.
Yeah,
bullshit.
That's exactly what you said. Every one of them heard it.
No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
They was all inside.
Yes, they did. And then when I got pissed off and you knew I was pissed, you went and hide behind the bushes.
Oh man, talk about crapping out. You know what I mean? You think you found a warm home for your racism or your sexism only to be called out by people because they happen to be a decent example of humanity. Though I can say this for Sarah Huckabee Sanders, that was far from her only terrible public statement.
Not even an assassin's bullet could stop him. God Almighty intervened because America is one nation under God, and he is certainly not finished with President Trump.
Yes, I'm sure the parents in Sandy Hook and Parkland and Uvalde and Sandy Springs, you name it, all feel phenomenal about that one. Then there was a time she went on Face the Nation and decided to defend her state's high maternal mortality rates.
So your state, you're talking about the sanctity of life. Your state had one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the country, according to the CDC, up until about 2021. Arkansas is one of the few states that hasn't extended postpartum care for mothers. Why don't you want those moms to get care for a full 12 months, as is being offered, instead of just 60 days?
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with the premise of your question, saying that I don't want that. I certainly want us to do everything that we can to help during pregnancy and well after a child is born, which is why we have done things like focus on the foster and adoption care. We've put significant funding into our pregnancy crisis centers. We're focusing on things that help our mothers, including bring your kids to work at state government. We've expanded maternity leave for state employees. We included that in our education package. We have taken a number of steps that are very positive in this front, and we're going to continue to do that as long as I'm governor.
With the states of Mississippi, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, they did extend for 12 months rather than the 60 days. So I'm just wondering specifically on that option, why you opted out.
Then there was a time she seemingly confused the Democratic Party with the Republican Party.
I think it's very simple. Conservatives, they want to be able to make their own decisions and live freely. Democrats want to be able to control and dictate every single thing we do. To me, the contrast could not be more clear between the two sides. If you want to make decisions for yourself and for your family about how you will live, how you will educate your kids, how you will run your business, then you should be a conservative Republican. If you want the government to do those things for you, then you should be a liberal Democrat.
I think what you meant to say was, I have never heard of Project 2025.
And they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme.
Now, as badly as that went for you, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, yeah, we gonna drag you again. Yeah, we gonna drag you again. If there's anything we learned from Trump challenging Kamala Harris's blackness, just because I don't drag you now doesn't mean I won't drag you later. Just wait.
Again, in speaking about women, there has been a very big fixation on biological children, stepchildren, women that have children versus women that don't have children. It's like a huge point somehow of this entire election, right? I saw the governor of Arkansas said, "My kids keep me humble." Unfortunately, Kamala Harris doesn't have anything keeping her humble. How did that make you feel?
I don't think she understands that there are a whole lot of women out here who, one, are not aspiring to be humble.
Ooh, speak on it. Are not aspiring to be humble. Ooh, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you walk right into that one. Continue.
Two, a whole lot of women out here who have a lot of love in their life, family in their life, and children in their life. And I think it's really important for women to lift each other up.
And by the way, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is far from the only woman that not only has attacked Kamala Harris, because certainly if you are a female woman in this space, you can attack Kamala Harris, you can feel free to. It is the method of attack, specifically sexist attacks at Kamala Harris. It's time for Republicans to start talking about Kamala Harris's sexual history and the reason why she doesn't have any children of her own. I'm willing to bet she's had so many abortions that she's damaged her uterus. a woman who has no biological children of her own should not be allowed to make decisions in the White House for your children.
She had disastrous staff turnover as vice president. I check it on the daily. Her public schedule, gentlemen, rarely has anything on it, or one or two things on it. She does not speak well. She does not work hard.
All right, so
she doesn't
Kellyanne,
inspire
let me
anyone.
ask you.
And she should not be the standard bearer for the party.
Whether it be about her family situation or whether it be about her dating situation or how he got to the past. Yes, these are women on the right that see that as a perfectly fine avenue of progress. Even women that have complained about that kind of treatment in the past. Megyn Kelly. I wonder why this is different, though. I wonder why you feel okay doing that to Kamala Harris, but it was a problem for you.
You know, I'll tell you, Alex, one of the things that I have really enjoyed about where the discussion has gone, one of the places it's gone, we have our family by blood, and then we have our family by love. And I have both. And I consider it to be a real blessing. And I have two beautiful children, Cole and Ella, who call me Mamala. We have a very modern family. My husband's ex-wife is a friend of mine.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I was with you on all of the prior stuff, actually, as somebody that grew up in a non-traditional family and know about the bonds that you can build with parents that may not be your biological parents. I am an example of that. That's where the Waters name comes from. But nah, you're not gonna tell me y'all not cool. Maybe for the children you can be decent, but stop it.
Look, I'm a child of divorced parents. And when I started dating Doug, my husband, I was very thoughtful and sensitive to making sure that until I knew that our relationship was something that was going to be real, I didn't want to form a relationship with the kids and then walk away from that relationship. My own experience tells me that, you know, children form attachments and you really want to be thoughtful about it. And so I waited to meet the kids.
Yeah, that was the same logic I used as a single man in my 20s and 30s. That's sound logic.
And they are my children. And I love those kids to death. And family comes in many forms. And I think that increasingly, you know, all of us understand that, you know, this is not the 1950s anymore. Families come in all kinds of shapes and forms.
Apparently, family coming in many forms is something that the right wing, this election cycle, seems to be totally incapable of grasping. Not just the idea of her family and her husband having kids and their relationship, which, by the way, is something your presidential nominee would probably know a little something about. A little weird that you're challenging people in non-traditional relationships with three-wife Donnie at the top of the ticket. But let me put that aside for a moment. The fact that you can't even fundamentally process an interracial relationship in 2024 is wild to me. I mean, tell me you living out the 50s without telling me you living out the 50s. Oh, that's what they meant by Make America Great Again. Now, VP Harris continued her media push, taking to 60 Minutes, where she would be alone because three-wife Donnie decided that he couldn't stand the heat.
Then, a week ago, Trump backed out. The campaign offered shifting explanations. First, it complained that we would fact-check the interview. We fact-check every story.
Wow, so it's not just Sarah Huckabee Sanders that needs to call her daddy. It's also three-wife Donnie. And where was he? What was he doing while he was too delicate to deal with 60 Minutes? This was at a memorial for October 7th. This man learned absolutely nothing from the cemetery debacle. And you know what? I can't even necessarily blame him, because that's what happens when you have little to no consequences. When people are protected from the consequences of their actions, they continue to behave in a nonsensical way. Sound off, Donnie.
Because I didn't have a chance with her. You know, I said, Miriam, maybe I should stay back and, heading into a hurricane, Miriam. It made no difference. No, you have to be here. Our friends are there. And I said, okay, when you say that, I'm going to be there 100%. I'm going to be there. I was watching the airplane highways, and they were all heading this way as I was going that way. They said, what's he doing?
I'm sorry. Did he say airplane highways? Somebody need to help him. I mean, really, somebody need to help him out. Oh, Fox News will sign up for the task. Here is Laura Ingraham carrying Donald Trump to the finish line of this interview like Floyd Mayweather did Conor McGregor.
Very concerned about that.
So we're into almost $300 billion for Ukraine, and yet they're offering people $750
for immediate needs.
For the worst, but for the worst hurricane that anybody's seen.
Let me just tell you, it's immediate needs. We're gonna make sure, because I know that's a lie, and you know that's a lie, and you know that I know that's a lie, and I know that you know that that's a lie.
That would be shocking if it were true that that's all that the federal government was offering these disaster victims, but it's not. On a page called Hurricane Helene Rumor Response, FEMA called the claim false, describing that as just one form of assistance to help people cover essential items like food and water and other emergency supplies in the short term. FEMA goes on to highlight how those victims of this disaster can also apply for temporary housing and personal property and home repair costs. That is not the only false claim that Donald Trump is spreading. Take a listen.
They've given over $1 billion to illegal migrants that came in, and now they have no money for North Carolina, for Georgia, for South Carolina, and Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida.
North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, a Trump-backing Republican, pushed back on that claim yesterday.
We could have a discussion about the failure of this administration's border policies and the billions of dollars it's costing, but right now, not yet is it affecting the flow of resources to Western North Carolina.
It is not a factor, to be clear. Okay.
Not at this time.
There's also this claim that Trump posted on Truth Social saying that he doesn't, quote, like the reports that I'm getting about the federal government and the Democrat governor of the state of North Carolina going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas, unquote. It's not exactly clear what reports Mr. Trump is referring to, but you should take a listen to what a Republican governor in a neighboring state had to say about the treatment that South Carolina, a ruby red state, is getting.
What has been the ongoing kind of federal assistance for South Carolina?
It's been superb. We're getting assistance.
There's also this statement from Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, another Republican, thanking President Biden for his, quote, support and continued coordination to provide assistance to Virginians in need, unquote. These statements, these false statements, are having an impact on the very people who have been impacted by this deadly and financially devastating storm. Just ask North Carolina State Senator Kevin Corbin, who posted on Facebook last Thursday, quote, will you all help stop this conspiracy theory junk that is floating all over Facebook and the internet about the floods in Western North Carolina? Example, FEMA is stealing money from donations. I just talked to one senator that has had 15 calls today about why we don't stop, fill in the blank. 98% chance it's not true. And if it is a problem, someone is aware and on it, unquote. When you listen to folks on the ground in the community in North Carolina, where my mom is from, it sounds a lot like what we heard from officials in Springfield, Ohio, after Trump and Vance falsely claimed that Haitian migrants were eating their neighbors' cats and dogs.
Very concerned about that.
So we're into almost $300 billion for Ukraine, and yet they're offering people $750
For immediate needs.
for the worst, but for the worst hurricane that anybody's seen.
But I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in there just so for the clip purposes, when this is clipped, at least the truth was in the clip somewhere. She basically photobombed the truth at the end of Donald Trump's statement.
But she shouldn't be there anyway. She should be, I would say, North Carolina is bad, is so bad. And
she was there today for 3 hours, I believe, Kamala Harris.
There it is again. She did it again. You're like, Donnie, you know you lying. Let me just throw the truth in there. Bam. And if you're wondering, here are the receipts from Call Her Daddy, which you guys have seen fit to hashtag and have trending all week because of your objection to Call Her Daddy, even though that is something that appears on right-wing message boards all over the country. I see you, Mark Robinson. Here are the receipts that she, in fact, went to the storm.
I then found out the interview was probably not happening. I just went and saw the room. Everything is starting to look really good. And then last minute, I just found out that she may have to be canceling. This may not be happening now because there is the hurricane happening on the East Coast and she may need to fly there tonight to go handle things. So now I'm just kind of in a waiting pattern. Final verdict ended up being that the interview got canceled in Vegas. The vice president had to go handle everything going on with the hurricane. And so I ended up just staying in, continuing to work on my questions because I knew at some point I would get this interview. And that is what leads us to part 2 of when I actually interviewed the vice president of the United States.
But I will forgive you if you didn't see that. You probably don't follow Call Her Daddy. You probably couldn't even find it.
There's no reward for being stupid. And then finally, you can't make this stuff up. Finally, the last couple of days, the vice president goes on some show called Call Her Daddy or Call Your Daddy or Who's Your Daddy or something. Call me daddy. I like Who's Your Daddy better.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I very much appreciate the support. And as I mentioned previously, we got membership now. Yes, it was something that you guys suggested and a suggestion that I took and moved forward with. And it's something I'm really super excited about. That's going to give me the ability to give people early access to videos and ad-free experience, and also be able to record things on the go when I'm not necessarily in my perfect environment. I have something I just want to drop in real quick. I have the ability to do that. The ability to give you guys deep dive investigation pieces, some of the stuff that may not necessarily be topical, but stuff that deserves your attention. And of course, some of the uncensored content as well, because Lord knows the kind of stuff that I have to cut out of my videos can make pieces in and of themselves. Well, now I have the ability to do all of that. So sincere thank you to everybody that has joined the channel already. I can't wait to see where this goes.